News. Michael Leiter is our national security analyst at NBC News. He's the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center in Washington. Michael, two things to at least overseas veterans of our dual wars these past 10 years and all those of us who have spent time over there. Number one, the primary explosion, then the secondary explosion as people are running to the first, and number two, the nature of these injuries, an explosive device apparently with added shrapnel, and that kind of haunts everybody involved.
Yes, Brian, the idea of using two explosive devices, the first charge, which attracts to some extent the first responders, the police, fire, medical, and then have a second charge go off that is potentially targeting those responders. It's potentially the sign of a more sophisticated attack. And as you noted, the shrapnel, the idea that there could have been ball bearings or something else in these explosives, clearly specifically trying to kill or maim, not just trying to have a small explosion and get some attraction. It's a sign of a terrorist organization that's trying to kill people.
And Michael, here we are in the post-9/11 era. While it's familiar now to us in a kind of hideous way, it also isn't. We should emphasize that while people, especially in big cities and especially on the East Coast, are going to see precautions at train stations and airports and perhaps big obvious movement of law enforcement, there is no reason to fear that this is at this hour, part of any wider plan, correct?
That's right. People should view the precautions that they're seeing in major cities, Washington, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, merely as precautions. And this is exactly what the federal government and states and cities prepare for in the event of an attack. Heightening basic preparedness, putting more police on the scene, and that is not because they know something specific. It is because everyone wants to make sure that there is a show of force, and should something else arise, that they're in a good position to respond. But it's not the sign of a specific threat necessarily.